Good afternoon, everybody. You can see it's getting late. Some of you might have been waiting or have been attending many too many presentations now. But bear with me, this is going to be quite short, probably 30 minutes. But yes, welcome to Social Science 4. This is a presentation we are going to run through for the next half an hour, just to orientate ourselves and also to establish more communication amongst each others as we try to go down the road for getting through this module and eventually finding our way through the course of Bachelor of Education Senior Primary. And rejoice, getting to Year 2 Semester 4 course, it's quite an effort to be proud of. We hope we can clear this out of the way and meet again Social Science 4 and all other modules that are ahead. Let me also just commit to you that I'll be here to assist for whatever I can. And my name is Benjamin Nathaniel. Some of you are aware, already know me from the other courses. Why am I here today is just actually to guide you through some of the most challenging but not too difficult questions that we experience in this and other courses. But specifically to this course, I would like first to just present general information. I'll be very fast because at Social Science 4 you must be aware of most of these things. The course we are here for, the main course is the Bachelor of Education Senior Primary, and this course or this module is Social Science 4. The bigger course carries 547 credits, and this course only carries 14 out of that. I mean, that's a lot of credits even for the course itself. For 14 credits, you're expected to spend more or less 140 hours. And as you know, this is at NQL level 6, and with a focus on grade 10, geography and history. So this is the content of this course get more finer. It's not more general as the previous courses or your previous courses, social science courses. So the assignment that you are about to do will carry 130 marks, which will eventually be passed when you get 50% or more, and then that qualifies you to an exam according to you. If you want to write in April or in August, I suggest to take it for April. The earlier the better always. And then when you pass that exam, we then compute your final marks as 50% obtained from 60% of exam and 40% of the CA, and then you put together that it gets you your final marks. That's the assignment. That's exactly the screenshot from your cover page. So there is no much to get there. But however, the due date is 15 January 2018. Yes, 15 January 2018 for you to qualify for April exam. If you did not do that, you can still use the second one, which is 15 June, which qualifies you for the August exam. Yes, this assignment, the return for general methodology in social studies comes back again. It was not in social science 3, but as you prepare for social science 4, we still expect to know a general methodology in social studies. That is the curriculum expectation, the basic competencies, setting up lesson plans, assessment methods, and all those first 3 units of your study guide. Okay, this is just instructions. you get more, you get this and other instructions on your on your assignment paper. So please go through them. I strongly advise that you go through instructions before writing anything. It's very, very important. Just to get you to where you are now, you have already passed the phase of upper primary. This has a focus more to junior secondary, because it's social science 4, so it is made to let you or to equip you teach at grade up to grade 10 level. So this is quite a high level course. Okay, so this is all from the National Curriculum for Basic Education. I recommend that you get yourself one copy. I have the soft copy. We can see how to share it, but you can also try just to look for it at your at the website. It's at NIED, National Institute for Education Development. But you can, I think, if you just also punch in National Curriculum for Basic Education in your web search, you're probably going to be directed to that NIED website. As I said, upper primary, you are more or less at the boundary. You passed it. It's coming to teaching wise. At this level, you're preparing for junior secondary. Now, as junior secondary, we say this phase continues with the same learning areas as upper primary. It consolidates achievements to date, like from that upper primary, and then it extends them to the level where the learners are prepared for young adult and training, employment, and continued formal education. That's now when you go for grade 12 or to tertiary. At this level, learners choose to pre-vocational subjects. That's not very important, but we all need to understand that at this time now, we consolidate the achievements from upper primary, and then we take it to the level where learners are prepared for young adulthood training, employment, continuing formal education. So that's very, very important that we teach at the level, understanding that we are now preparing learners even to live, even if they don't go up, at least to have something else in life. Okay, my favorite slide is this. What is this? What is the place of social sciences in the education system, especially now that we are almost focusing on history and geography? Like I said, at grade 10 or this level of the course, we're not talking about the history. You have history here, very, very important. I haven't mentioned ethics in a while, even in other presentations. Ethics are just more or less like standards and values at which we should ascribe or we should subscribe to make sure that the country or the society lives in an appropriate order. Now, the content for social science 4, apart from these 3 units that I said, more or less just at the teaching and the general methodologies, that's the understanding the rationaries and pedagogies in social studies, and also how to present or to plan and present the lesson plan, your lesson. And then now that you teach your students, also how do you assess your students. Now we have other modules or other topics that are not general. These 3 I highlighted them purposefully, and I'll keep highlighting them in all presentations, because at this time you should be able to just walk through. Very, very important, very, very easy. You have done this over and over. But I'm not saying put less attention to it, because I have still seen people in social science for not knowing the difference between basic competencies and lesson objectives. So still go through it. Don't just ignore because you have gone through it many times. Our course outline continues, but here at this time, that's when now you really become specialized. If you are more, this is more geography, the other part was more history, but I have selected a few things that I know it's in your, even for your assignments. It's very important. How do you interpret population pyramids? This pyramid should be very, very similar to the one in your assignment. If I say describe this the structure of this population, there is nothing that shows the dependency ratio here. At this time, that is inferences. You can infer the dependency ratio based on the structure, but that is not is not part of the structure. The structure is only to show you that there is a broad base. Fine. There is sharp descending, sharp descending as it goes up, and then it have a narrow apex. Those are the most striking features that you can see from the population pyramid. But then the question continues now. What do you think is it's responsible for those features you described there? You have that there's a bigger base, yes, a wide base. You see that there is, if we have to say this percentage now of the total population, but another one can also have numbers themselves, not percentage. But still, if you can say that there is 8, maybe 5 toward 9% of this, or of the population for female, they are in this base, in this age category, which is 0 to 4. But so this is indicative of higher birth rates. Yes, that's correct. So because if it's a population that didn't have that much, or if the population will always be like not a pyramid anymore. It's named a pyramid because earlier on populations had always this type of structure. But currently, if you take populations like for developed countries like a country like Belgium or Sweden, you find out that it's more straight going up, meaning that there is no much decrease, so people are not dying so far. So if you have people that are in this category, just 5 years later, those people who reach these ones are only here, it means that this whole portion have died just in that space of 5 years. So what could be the cause of this? Like we said, that would be then higher mortality rate and maybe higher infant mortality rate, but also just general higher mortality rate. So you can keep it that way. And then what shows here that what makes the narrow apex is still the high mortality rate, but then you can also then reflect on low life expectancy, meaning that most people die before they reach here. So that's to say that this whole portion would be here if there was no death at all. I mean, that's not possible, but the deaths are just too many, so that the population that reach here in 80 years, this is a population that's here now in 80 years or 85 years, it's only this small fraction reaches this age. So that means that there's a very low short life expectancy. Most people probably die around 50 are already gone. But we know that they are going. So and then what could be the other implications? Now that's when we're talking about the dependency ratio. We have so many kids and so many young people, so many kids, and maybe the elders are not too many, but this population here cannot what we call an economically active population is not that big to support this. That's why we pay taxes, we pay other services to provide money for our elders and a pension, and also to give the younger ones, those who get grants from the government. So this is just now what I've said, that we consider the structure in terms of the base. We show the number of births and the middle part and the apex. So refer to the structure. That's what we want to see. Do not refer to do not make inferences already at that time. So then we give the reasons that what I said, and then I also have to refer you to this very, very important. This is refer to the number of population and housing census to see the interpretation of population pyramids and the implications. Download the report from the Number Statistics Agency from this website. So this will present very, very good information about the pyramids. Let's go through the population pyramids. Now the problems that comes with those countries. Now, like I said, describe the details now. For example, how the dependency ratio, excuse my N here, how does the dependency ratio is affected when you have a population that is too young, and then the supporting population, which is supposed to be from 20 to around 60, the economically active population is very, very small. So you have so almost a one-to-one relationship, or even many kids and many elders being supported by fewer economically active population. Okay, there's also slopes. The question about slope also gives this is not necessarily completely what is in your thing, but the question of slope also give quite some challenges. But here I would more, because of the time, I want more to go to creating graphs from population, I mean from weather data. This is a very, very important question, as people still make graphs that are not sound. So let's quickly try to have, for example, creating a graph from this data. This is just data from Namibia Meteorological Services, just to show the temperature and the rainfall in 1 year. Now you have to make a graph which show all the two in one. Of course, I've seen people trying to put them in one. I don't know how can you call this a bar, because you have somebody put rainfall here and maybe put temperature one, then you put this January. So, and then maybe for February you put rainfall and the temperature maybe is also almost equal to the rainfall, to do like that. That is completely not right. When we are presenting temperature and rainfall in one graph, let's go here. We are going to say, let's use two axes. You have to know that you have to use your rainfall axis here. You need to know that you are working with an axis. It must be labeled. That is compulsory. That's the x-axis. This is the y-axis. Sorry, this is the y-axis. This is the x-axis. It should be completely labeled. It starts from 0. We don't have any negative temperature here or negative whatever, so we start from 0. Anything here is positive. Then we need to know that, okay, rainfall is in millimeter, as you can see there. You expect it to be in millimeter. And then you need now to make another axis to the right, which is also a y-axis, because the month apply to everything. This is month. And now here you have temperature in degrees Celsius. So those are your axes that you have to do. Now for the rainfall, the traditional method, and which is the convenient method to present rainfall, is in the bar graph, not histogram. There must be a difference between the bar graph. The bar graph, the bars are not touching. Histogram, bars are touching because they are used to present continuous data, so there is no space between the bars. So any attempts to do this, to present rainfall is not a continuous something, it's for each month, it will be wrong here. Let's use this one. Let's plot 2 months, maybe 3 months, just for us. Maybe we have January and February. Let's leave all the March and whatever. Let's take maybe October. What is the rainfall in January? So we have to mark our axis. The minimum rainfall here is 0, so we start from 0. The maximum is 120, so we take 0, 20. The maybe let's say 0, 20, 40. So we have enough space. 60, 80. This must be 100, 120. This must be completely. The intervals must be the same, must be equal. And then we have rainfall. I mean temperature, we know that the minimum seems to be 15, the maximum is 35, I guess. So we have maybe 0, we start from minimum. Okay, we use this symbol sometimes, like zigzag line, to show that I'm skipping some data. Maybe we just start from 5, 10, 15, but this one is, we don't need this zigzag, because we know that 0 is here, so we're not skipping much data, even if we know that our minimum temperature will be 15, but we have no problem here. 20, 25, 30, 35. So this is temperature. So we do, okay, if we take January rainfall, we know it's 80 roughly. We go here, we make 80 here. We can label it if we want. And then for February it's 120. That was very, very high. Let me put February somewhere here. So 120, we go up to 120 here. We know that that's a rainfall. And then for March, okay, we are not going to do all. For October is 20 rainfall, that's in millimeter, 20 somewhere here. We know that October we don't get much rain, so it's 20 somewhere here. Then we present temperature in with a who is going to guess what could we do with the temperature? We do it in a line. So for January we know that it was 30, so we put a dot somewhere at 30. For February we know it was 25. We maybe come not this 30 but the 30 is here, sorry, 30 for January, because we're using now the axis for temperature. So the 30 for January, it's somewhere here. Okay, don't make this mistake. You are reading from the from the y-axis, but the one for temperature. Then for February is 25. We come down maybe 25. We come here. Let's assume there's March somewhere here, which is 20. Maybe we could put here whatever. But for October, it would be 30 again. So we go again to 30 in October. For the sake of clarity, let's maybe add November, October, 35, and December 30, maybe 35. November and December also 30. So we are going then to make our line starting from here. That doesn't matter. It goes here, it goes here, it goes here, it goes here, it goes here. We can even end it there. So that will be our composite graph with rainfall and with temperature set like that. So make sure that your graphs is very clearly labeled. All the features are distinct. Distinct. You can even use different colorings if you want to make sure that your graph is very, very explicit. That is exactly what I have been describing. If you are going to get this presentation, you can go through with your own time. But then I want to move on a bit to a map scale. I used this map in Social Science 3, but for this purpose, I'm trying to introduce the concept of map scale nicely. So how can we calculate map scale given some map? I would want to know, for example, if I have to start from the beginning of this sketchment to the end, maybe I'm going to say, you can see that there's no map scale here. How can we, for example, ask ourselves to attach it? So we need to know what does this, how long, what distance does this map cover when you are on your paper, and then we normally you must be given one of the distances. If I give you the one in reality that is this much, then you use this one to know how much it was reduced. Okay, so this is the instruction. When you get the I'm sure you should be able to access this presentation, and then you can ask me questions based if you don't get. I always suggest that let's keep consistency with our decimal places. If you have to round off, keep it to 2 decimal places. Don't have 1 or 3, that thing of not consistent. Let's always keep it to 2 decimal places, like 1.10, that's 2 decimal places. Okay, the weather data, the importance of weather data to various industries, to aviation and construction, whatever. Please visit this website. I know Social Science 4 is a very big component of this, and some of these things are explained well at this website. That's the meteorological website of Namibia, but they are also explained very well in your study guide. There's also World Meteorological, it's called WMO. That is World Meteorological Organization, which present even more data than what is on the Meteorological Office of Namibia. So I suggest that you go there and check even the drought, like the drought predictions and the floodings, and most of the things are present in there, so that you can keep open and provide relevant examples to your students and learners. This is just a shot from the website of Namibia Meteorological Service, as you see it here, just to say that this is what you expect when you go there. Please try to go there. That's why you can see here saying aviation weather. If you click on that tab, it will tell you why are they collecting aviation weather and so forth and so forth. This is just to for example, how do you then create, for example, a project with your learners to record data. Maybe there is some rainfall data collecting instrument in or around your school or your area. How can you go? You take the students to go there for 7 days or whatever time you determine in form of a project, and come with those data and come and do the graphics. Take the minimum temperatures, the range, the average, the medium, all the computations that make them understand the essence and the importance of creating and working with that data. The part of physical features and the protection of the environment, this I'm just going to introduce again to the climatic regions, just to emphasize the need to understand the climatic regions of the world, and especially of Namibia and Africa, just to understand that we are, for example, our Caprivi region, it's more in the tropical sort of, even if Namibia is relatively or referred to as semi-arid, we still have some areas that goes up to 600 millimeter in terms of rainfall. That's quite better, good rainfall. But then we have other areas, especially toward our coast, which receive only 50 millimeter or even less. So that variation in temperature, it also then create other environmental conditions in soils and also in vegetation, and then absence of vegetation sometimes create soil erosions. So the linkage between all these environmental attributes is very, very important. When it comes to an essay at social science 4 level, you should be able to write a very smooth essay going with all these attributes: language being coherent, nominalization, hedging, and also critical thinking. Critical thinking in the essay means that you cannot just present any hanging argument without any supporting evidence or supporting statements. So for that reason, you need to read more and engage more on discussions that have something to do with the country or current or contemporary social issues, and even global issues happening, the floodings we see in Puerto Rico, all the region, all the war we see in South Sudan. All those things that we need to engage in those discourse, so that we can actually be so close or so updated with the international and local events. The understanding of verbs is just to reflect on that. You should be able to have a clear understanding now that each time you have to read and underline the main verb in the question that you are, so that when you answer, in fact, I would really be very happy if I see you for every question, especially in your exam, underline the verb. If it says explain or if it says discuss, underline it so that you know that we are discussing. Right. Academic dishonesty is completely discouraged. We are, especially at second year level, it's very, very honest. We cannot allow copying and pasting content from other sources without acknowledging them, whether in the text by citing or at the end of your text by referencing. In any case, even if you have cited it, you don't completely just copy the work without your input. You have to understand it and put it in your own word. So as we conclude, I would like again to present to you my email and my cell phone number. And I think I also want us to create a group for Social Science 4 where we can be more interactive and talk about issues and ask questions. And we also need to know how many we are in our course, so that we can interact and create some sort of friendship. I mean, education friendship. That is. And when we keep like the course live and interactive and enjoyable. Thank you for coming. I know it's late. We've been a long day for you. But I hope you get something out of this, and good luck as you continue with your assignments. Thank you.